Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing fine. Yes, I am teacher Rafi again, your English teacher, and thank you for clicking on this lesson. Today, I'm going to talk more and teach you about punctuation marks. Now, punctuation marks make writing more lively. It gives life to our sentences because punctuation marks help us to know where to pause, where to stop, or where and when to give feelings when you read or when you write sentences. First, very important and most commonly used punctuation mark is the period. So you can see it in our screen right now. So a period or a full stop is just a simple dot. And usually you can see it at the end of the sentences. Always remember to put a period or a full stop after each declarative sentence or after every complete sentence, unless it is a question or an exclamation. I'm going to talk more about that later. And another punctuation is called the comma. The comma or the quit, okay, encourages the reader or the writer to pause when they are reading a sentence. And sometimes also the comma is used to separate thoughts in a sentence or clauses in the sentence. Next punctuation mark is the question mark. So, as the name implies, you use it at the end of every interrogative sentence or every sentence that asks a question, like who are you? How are you? Why? How much? Okay, so every time you ask a question, there must always be a question mark at the end of the sentence. Next is the exclamation mark. Now, you can use the exclamation mark after sentences or after words that need stress or when you want to express a form of surprise or a strong emotion. And we also have the quotation marks like that. So when you see others saying quotation marks, they're like saying, or they are like saying to you that another person or another character told these lines, or these sentences are said by another character in the story. All right, so we will have an exercise about this in a while. All right, so right now I'm going to write on your screen. You can see a paragraph, which is a part of a story. And here you can see that the punctuation marks are removed. Now, let me read it without punctuation marks. All right. Once there was a lion, the king of the jungle was asleep. A little mouse began running up and down on him. This soon awakened the lion, who placed his huge paw on the mouse and opened his big jaws to swallow him. Okay, that took my breath away. See, it's really hard to read a passage or a story without the proper punctuation marks. So, this is what I am discussing, that punctuation marks are very important because it encourages the reader and the writer to highlight what is important in their write up or what is important in their story, and it gives their story life. Okay, so I'm going to show you the correct version of this with the punctuations. Okay, so first of all, what is incorrect is the first letter. Remember that it is also important for you to capitalize the first letter of every sentence. So the O in once was in small letter a while ago. Now it is on capital. It is capitalized. Okay, And then there must be a comma. Must be a comma right here after the lion, just so the reader can pause. Okay? And there is also another comma at the end of the phrase the king of the jungle, because this is a clause, the king of the jungle, which describes the lion. Now let me scribble on that a little bit. So this clause, the king of the jungle, is describing the lion. Okay? That is why it is separated by a comma. Okay? And then there's another comma right here after the word asleep, just so again the reader can take a pause. Okay? Now this and then right down here is the full stop or the period, because this is already a full sentence. All right? And then next, remember to capitalize the first letter of each sentence. So the letter T here is capitalized as well for this. And then down here, there's another comma that separates another clause, which again um, describes the lion. So let me underline it. It said, who placed his huge paw on the mouse? So the who here that is being talked about is the lion. So clauses like this, clauses like these are separated by commas. And again, at the end, you can see that there is a full stop at the end of the sentence. All right. So let me read it again with feelings, with all the punctuations. Once when a lion, the king of the jungle, was asleep, a little mouse began running up and down on him. This soon awakened the lion, who placed his huge paw on the mouse and opened his big jaws to swallow him. See, it has more life because you know where to properly stop, where to properly pause. All right, another example. Again, this one doesn't have punctuation marks on it, so I will read. Pardon, O king, cried the little mouse, forgive me this time. I shall never repeat it, and I shall never forget your kindness, and who knows, I may be able to do to you a good turn one of these days. Do I sound like a robot? Yeah. When you read without punctuation marks, you will sound like a robot. So let us check out what should be corrected in this paragraph. Okay. So first of all, there must be quotation marks. If you can see here, let me draw on it. Okay. These are the quotation marks. Okay, because these are the lines or these are the words that the little mouse said. So they must be inside the quotation marks. Okay, and remember, we must use the exclamation mark here because the mouse had a strong feeling. So in order to convey that, we must use an exclamation mark. Just so remember, the little mouse was caught, right? So it has a strong emotion. Said, "Pardon, O king," because he was quite surprised and I think scared at the same time. Next, if you will see the next line, there's another quotation mark here. And far down here is the another quotation mark because that whole sentence, I mean, those three sentences are all from the mouse. These three sentences are all from the dialogue of the mouse. So the mouse said, forgive me this time. I shall never repeat it and I shall never forget your kindness. And who knows, I may be able to do you a good turn one of these days. So here, since there are three sentences, you can see a full stop here, another full stop here, and finally, there is an exclamation mark here. Okay, that's it. And also, for you to also have pauses in between. There is the comma right there, and one more here. All right. So you can see the importance of punctuation marks. So let me read it again with feelings and with the proper punctuation. Okay. Oh, all right. So let me read it carefully and with feelings and with proper punctuations. "Pardon, O king!" cried the little mouse. "Forgive me this time. I shall never repeat it, and I shall never forget your kindness. And who knows? I may be able to do you a good turn one of these days." All right, so I hope everyone understands the importance of punctuation marks. So after this video, please try to answer the assessment just so we can be sure that you truly understood how punctuation marks work. All right, so thank you again for listening to Teacher Rafi on our English lesson for today. Thank you. Bye.